Louisville City FC. Take or leave that though, right? That was a good reception.
That was the.
Oh.
I'm guessing it's family.
Yeah, that would make sense. Alright, so Ownby up against Malin Roberts and Alex Lee. Malin Roberts give that penalty away on the screen.
Wait, last week?
2 weeks ago. Last time we were here. Yeah.
See, I keep doing that too.
It only feels like a week.
That's good. Did you think there was a person on that?
There's not, is there?
No. I definitely thought there was two.
Just gonna move this away so I can. See you soon. I'm good. No, I'm good, thanks. Alright. Okay, Taylor. 4 minutes to open. Tanowski. How's the crowd looking? Okay.
Decent. Better than the Flying Squirrels.
Really?
I drove by the stadium last night. It was like empty.
Huh. Interesting.
Just got the idea of like we drove by, it was empty, and there's like they didn't have a game. Just looked like dark, man.
I came here Monday through Friday and Sunday. Empty. Even the players were interested.
That's good to be Max Tissot?
Excuse me?
I called him Max Tissot.
Is that not his name?
Maxime,
Oh, okay. Depends how well you know him, I guess.
apparently.
Where's the sponsored read stuff? Okay. There's a couple got to remember, like the Ball Kids are sponsored by Saxon Shoes.
Yeah, that's at halftime.
Cool.
By, yeah, I think that's it actually.
And every goal is sponsored by, so I don't forget.
Draper Aiden.
Draper Aiden. Oh, where's Louisville? Hello there and welcome to City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia for the Richmond Kickers versus Louisville City FC. We're going to take a short break while the national anthem is played and we'll be back with you on the other side. We are here at City Stadium for the Richmond Kickers versus Louisville City FC. It is the third game of the season for the Kickers. 1-1, lost 1. 1-1-0, lost 1-0. Now they're facing Louisville City FC. I'm Darryl Grove, I'll be your play-by-play guy. I'm joined by Taylor Rockwell, my colour commentator.
Hey buddy, how you doing? I noticed you've been practicing your Louisville pronunciation. Nicely done.
Louisville.
Yeah, that's close enough.
All right, so visiting City Stadium today is a familiar face for Louisville City. It is Brian Ownby.
Absolutely.
A Richmond kicker of a few years, scored many goals for the Kickers. Fans will be thinking, I recognise that guy. He didn't have that beard, but I recognise that guy. And they'll recognise him even more when he's cutting in from the left wing with that right foot. He's very fast, very dangerous.
Absolutely. Very involved last week in Louisville's 3-1 win over Orlando City B. You can see him on that left wing, as you said. Very creative, very clever, very skillful on the ball.
And Louisville fans will recognise Connor Shinosky. The Richmond Kickers,
traded,
captain and centre-back, who joined the Kickers late last season. Shinosky is actually the Richmond Kickers' top scorer this season with 1 goal.
There it is. Yeah, has been doing a good job since the Kickers switched to that back three. He's been anchoring the back three in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Also serving as captain, but doing a good job of mentoring that young Kickers defense as they come back from some injuries.
Okay, so let's take a look at today's lineups. Up first, Richmond Kickers, Taylor. How are we lining up?
For the Richmond Kickers, it's going to be what I'm going to say now is a standard back three.
Yep, 3 weeks in a row.
Yep. We've got Connor Shinosky, we've got Evan Lee, and we have got Malin Roberts. They're going to be your 3 center backs. Maxime Tissot on one side, Alex Lee on the other. In the midfield, we're expecting it to be Pat McCann and
Chris Durkin alongside him. US under-17 men's national team captain. Really impressive last week in the defeat against New York. Ahead of those guys, you're going to see Asante Ansakiri and then Mikey Minatillo up top.
Absolutely.
All right, we are going to take a short break and then we'll be back with you.
For over 100 years, one of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
How can an elephant go undercover to ensure great customer service? Well, it goes a little something like this. I carefully prepare my disguise.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a tow truck on the way to you right now.
I approach with the utmost subtlety.
Absolutely.
I observe, undetected, and slip away without a trace. When my customers are happy, I'm happy. And when I'm happy,
More care, less cost. Just
Evan Lee back across. You can see this kicker's back three already, Taylor. Like we're saying, 3 weeks in a row now. Big long ball out the back from Connor Shinosky, looking for Alex Lee. Over his head, out for a Louisville throw-in.
And for Louisville, it looks like they're going with the more standard formation, the 4-2-3-1 that they've been utilizing so far with pretty good success this season and last. As we see Brian Ownby there, former Richmond kicker player, flicking it on. Gets a scrap with Alex Lee.
We know Ownby will always fight for the ball.
Absolutely.
For better or worse. He's going to be a player the kicker's going to be really worried about today. I would say George Davis IV as well. They've obviously seen him play. He was here until 2015. Here's Malin Roberts. Goes down the channel, headed out. Collected by Del Piccolo. He loses it to McCann into the feet of Minatello, making his home debut for the Richmond Kickers, caught offside.
Minatello spent 2 years at Virginia Tech, 2 years at Penn State, and then a couple years in the Faroe Islands before finding his way to City Stadium.
Beautiful part of the world. It's going to be Dabovolsky to take this free kick for Louisville, their second string goalkeeper. Ranjit Singh out injured, I believe.
As is their standard striker up top, Cameron Lancaster, had that beautiful goal against Orlando City. Goal. Yeah, exactly. But then subbed out in the 28th minute due to injury. Luke Spencer replaced him in that game, starting up top for Louisville today.
Here's Ownby on the ball. Ownby puts it down the line for Jimenez. Jimenez back to Ownby. Ownby short to Del Piccolo, who I thought did a really good job pressing for Louisville last week against Orlando.
It's what he does.
It is what he does. Kickers forcing them back though. Now Minatello up against Dabovolsky. He squares it to Morad. Morad brings it out. Morad looking for options. Kickers letting him get to the halfway line. He goes out wide right. It's Kyle Smith, the right back, bringing it forward to Ballard down the line. Ballard, hometown Louisville player. I know he had an assist last week, so we'll be keeping an eye on him as well. Here's Jimenez. Oh, Jimenez decided not to go against Alex Lee there. Del Piccolo plays it square. Speedy Williams. Tosh back to his keeper. Sorry, Morad back to his keeper. Here's Tosh on the ball. Tosh to Carl Smith. Smith to Davies. Picked off by Evan Lee. Good step there. Throw taken into Davies. Smith gets it back. Ballard turns, got away from Lee. Into the feet of Spencer. That wasn't the best of return passes though. It's out for a kicker's throw-in. Looking at the kickers lineup, I see, Taylor, no Uday Mora, no Braden Troyer. I know Oliver Minatel is on the bench, coming back from an injury. I know William Yombi is not dressed for today, still recovering from injury. A lot of holes being plugged for the kickers today.
Absolutely. Even up top, Kamara, the DC United player, sent down, called back up for DC United today. So it's definitely going to be a game in which the kickers are going to have to figure some stuff out on the fly, plug some holes, see what they can do, and probably look to kind of weather those first 45, gel a little bit, maybe go for that goal in the second half.
It looks to me like it's Durkin and McCann at the base of the kickers' midfield. They'll be looking to receive the ball from the kickers' centre-backs. Or watch it go long to Minatello. It goes all the way through to Dabovolsky. There's more than one option. All right, Dabovolsky waving his players forward.
Kicker's doing a good job there, stepping forward. In that case, it was Samuel stepping up, Samuel Asante stepping forward to cut off that short pass, trying to force Louisville into going long.
McCann with a good touch in midfield, collects it, puts it out wide to Alex Lee, the right wing back. Alex Lee back to Malin Roberts, Canadian international, squares it to Connor Shinosky, former Louisville centre back. Shinosky, a bit of ball skills, and a slightly errant pass that Evan Lee collects.
I think he tried to look casual, then maybe looked a little too casual.
Kicked long, one in midfield by McCann. Asante comes and collects. Samuel Asante to Roberts. Roberts puts it out right to Alex Lee. Here he goes. Lee up against Ownby. Those two will know each other well. Crossfield ball from McCann is long enough. It reaches Tissot. Tissot back to Evan Lee. Tissot gets it back. Down the line. Ooh, looks like a foul there. Kicker's going to have a free kick.
Looks like Tosh ran right through Fred Owusu-Sekire, who remains down. Free kick given. Owusu-Sekire looked like grabbing his back in some pain, still staying down on the ground.
The physio's coming over. We're going to see how serious this is.
No card given. It looked like just kind of an aggressive step from Tosh, trying to win that ball, maybe trying to stamp the authority down early. In this situation, just a little bit too aggressive, as we see Owusu getting that treatment, and a couple of Kickers players hydrating, because that's important, Daryl Grove.
It certainly is. All right, Tyler, so we know the Kickers like to send the big men forward for any set pieces. Before we take the set piece, though, let's take a look at the replay of that foul on Owusu-Sekire. What do you see, Taylor?
I see Owusu-Sekire getting back up, limping off. Looks like he's going to be able to continue on in this game, although we do have a couple Kickers players warming up on the sideline just in case.
Okay, this free kick is going to be served in by Tissot. I see Shinosky in there. Maybe double his goal tally as Richmond Kickers top scorer.
Replay again of that incident. Yeah, and it's just a little bit of clumsy defending from Sean Tosh there. Just a little bit too aggressive. Gets into the back. Maybe a little bit of a dead leg there. A little bit of an injured hip for Owusu-Sekire. Can't be sure.
In-swinger came in, was headed out. Collected by McCann. McCann couldn't quite get it under control, but has won a throw-in for the Kickers. Into the box for Minatello. Minatello holds it, plays it off Smith. Smith clears down the line, looking for Ballard. I see that held up in the wind.
It's a strong wind picking up from left to right. It is going to be Louisville kicking into it, so expect that ball to hang in the air. Expect the players to have to adjust their runs accordingly. It's
going to be a challenge for Louisville to clear that. It's also going to be a challenge for the Kickers to maybe not overhit any of those, because so far we've seen quite a few long balls from the Kickers looking for Minatello in the channels.
We saw the Kickers earlier putting that high pressure on, trying to force Louisville into kicking long. Maybe that wind will cause further problems then.
Minatello got a push but held it up. Play on, says the referee. Kickers win it back with McCann. Now that's given us a foul. Okay, give me a Louisville free kick coming out. Kickers crowd not thrilled with that decision.
For those of you keeping track at home, it took 8 minutes for Lee Kalischel to get up off that bench, screaming mad for that decision given by the center official.
It's Jimenez outside of the foot pass to Brian Ownby. Ownby cuts back, gives it back to Jimenez. Into midfield with Del Piccolo. Williams. Quick turn and pass. Out wide. Smith. Ballard. Ballard up against Tissot. Cross comes in. It is caught and held by Klenowski.
That's what we talked about in the early minutes of this game. You've got Ballard on one side, you've got Ownby on the other. Very crafty, very creative midfielders who can cut inside, but can take the ball wide and play it back in, as we see here. It's Ballard using a little bit of skill to get to that end line. Doesn't quite get the ball where he would have liked, but still definitely a cautionary note for the Kickers and a sign of optimism, I'd say, for Louisville.
Oh, yeah. All right, here's Shinosky now with the ball in the middle. Out left to Evan Lee. Tissot with a quick turn. Tries to play it down the line. Kyle Smith blocks his path. That door is closed.
Louisville really crowding that one side of the field. Alex Lee wide open on the far side, but Louisville doing a good job to really not let the Kickers possess with too much comfort.
It looks like Louisville do a good job of squeezing to one side, like the whole team does a sideways press almost, to make sure that you get trapped in the corner.
And maybe to force you long.
That's not a bad ball from Durkin, though. It gave Minatello something to chase. Good work from Norad to win it, though. Dobrovolsky goes long. Out right to Ballard. Took it on his thigh, but went out of bounds. It's going to be a Kickers throw-in. Looking for options. Everybody marked up. Good work from Louisville. Asante gets it into feet, but is immediately tackled. Kickers free kick. I see Malin Roberts going forward. I see Shinosky going forward.
As we see the replay there of that contact, a yellow card issued to Louisville's George Davis IV. So a high boot to the foot of Samuel Asante, who's back up now, walking gingerly.
Somewhat ironic, it's usually Samuel Asante with the high boot.
Every now and then. Every now and then.
I think Samuel Asante's going to be like, oh, that's what it feels like. All right, Tissot to take
That's
it
what I've been
again.
doing this whole time?
Left-footed cross. Roberts got to it. Headed it just wide. It's going to be a goal kick to Louisville. Usa Sakiri getting a bit of a talking to from the referee there.
And this is something we've heard about Usa Sakire. He doesn't mind getting in the referee's ear early, staying in that ear throughout the whole game. Just letting him know. Not so thrilled.
Was that talk maybe stay out of my ear?
That might well could have been.
You can see the kickers here in their defensive 5-4-1, basically. Headed on, cleared first time by Lee. Now here's Usa with the ball. Good turn, goes backwards to Evan Lee. Lee square to Connor Shinoski.
Referee Daniel Chesky just got a little bit of a shove there from Speedy Williams. I think she was backing up to try to stay with the play, backed up right into Speedy Williams.
Minatillo fighting with Norad. Norad finds Williams. Williams, loose pass. McCann picks it off. McCann brings it forward. McCann shoots from distance. It's blocked by Norad. Now Louisville have the ball again. McCann intercepted the short pass. Now here goes Tissot down the left. Tissot, slide tackle from Carl Smith. Just rolls out of bounds. Fast ball to Usikiri. He turns under pressure. Still has it. Nice little ball into Samuel Asante. Here goes Asante out left to Tissot. Maxime Tissot looks up, goes backwards. Finds McCann. McCann into the box, headed down by Alex Lee. Louisville there to collect it. Jimenez looking for his centre forward, couldn't find him. Now the ball's out of bounds, it's going to be Louisville throwing.
Taken quickly by Jimenez to find Brian Ownby down the line. Alex Lee back to put that pressure on. Slow Ownby up from breaking too quickly.
All right, Del Piccolo to Williams. Louisville to build now. Out right to Carl Smith. Carl Smith up against Samuel Asante. Cuts back. Gives it to Williams. Nice, cheeky little pass from Del Piccolo there. Gets it back. Here comes Tosh. Tosh to Smith. Looks like the kickers are keeping a decent shape, Taylor. Although we do have an acceleration for Ballard down the wing here. Low ball in.
Poked clear by Evan Lee.
Yeah. So they were keeping a good shape until one man was beaten.
Until you jinx them, one or the other.
But isn't that going to be the danger with Louisville's wide players, with Ballard and with Ownby? You've always got the chance of being beaten one-on-one.
And especially when you're going dropping into the back five the way the kickers do. You've got that straight line. If you get one player in behind you, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Here's Ownby again. Cuts back in, gives it to Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo to Williams, who was calling for it. Shinoski clears. Only finds Tosh. Now here's Jimenez. And Del Piccolo again. Very nice chipped crossfield pass outright to Carl Smith and back to Del Piccolo. Are Louisville toying with the kickers, or are the kickers just not giving them a way through?
I think it's a little bit of both, but what Louisville are doing is doing a good job of sending runners in to kind of stay between those two defensive midfielders and that back three, operating right in that zone where no one is entirely sure who is whose responsibility. That could be a big problem for the kickers if they don't get that sorted out.
I noticed them switching it left to right and left to right and left to right as well. Keep working it around, looking for an opening. Here's Carl Smith. The right back has stepped into midfield as if Pep Guardiola was coaching Louisville City. Good touch from Asante. Alex Lee got caught on the ball. Twice he tried to clear. Twice Oscar Jimenez said no. Now Louisville have it back. Williams into Ballard. Ballard finds Ownby in the gap. Ownby shoots. Caught and held by Klenowski.
That is the problem with that back three, the way the kickers have it. If you have that lone striker in the form of Luke Spencer, as we get the replay here of that Ownby attempt, if you have that one center forward, it's going to be difficult to know who should be tracking that one forward, and then you have those runners coming in behind, so you never know if you're that center back, if you should step or stay back. Again, that's something the kickers are going to have to sort out fairly quickly, because otherwise Louisville are going to continue to have opportunities, as they just did.
I will say Ownby's chance was from quite a wide angle. You know what I'm saying? It's not as if he was right in on Klenowski.
It's never too wide of an angle when it comes to Brian Ownby.
Evan Lee in a bit of trouble, but still has the ball. Goes all the way back to keeper. Klenowski clears. Looking for Minatello. This is our first up-close look at Minatello, Taylor, the new striker. We saw him against New York Red Bulls, but he really didn't get to see much of the ball because the kickers were mostly defending in that game.
They were, but we've seen a little more of him here. He's done a good job so far of being that physical hold-up striker. Even when he doesn't bring it down cleanly, as he didn't just then, he puts them under pressure, forces Louisville into try to get a half clearance if they can, and thus leads to Richmond maintaining possession.
He looks to me like someone who's going to be a pest, you know, in the best possible sense if you're a Kickers fan. In the worst possible sense if you're a Louisville defender. He's going to be backing into you, he's going to be fighting you for every single ball. There he was, putting Dabovolsky under pressure. Evan Lee comes out with the ball, ran straight into Speedy Williams. We're about 17 minutes in here at City Stadium, still 0-0. Louisville with the better of the chances so far.
I think the only 2 shots on goal would be for Louisville thus far in this game. We have a foul at midfield there for the Richmond Kickers. Again, Kickers pretty frustrated by that. Louisville players themselves not too pleased with that call. But while we get set to take this free kick, fans stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into the USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XM-FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget Sirius XM-FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Replay here, that foul. Once again, just a little bit of physicality, maybe just a little bit of a shove. And I think correctly given, much as Louisville fans might not agree.
All right, Dabovolsky goes out left. Jimenez gets ahead to it. Ombi's going to collect with Roberts at his back. Ball is won by the Kickers. Alex Lee gets it to Awusu Sakiri. Won back by Jimenez. Jimenez to Norad. Turns back to Jimenez. Looking for options. Back to Norad. Kickers really boxing them in here. Asante tried to pick that off. I think he's won the free kick though.
He absolutely has. Not sure if maybe it was just a late challenge there from I believe Del Piccolo it was, but he does get foot-to-foot contact with Samuel Asante there, and down he goes. Free kick correctly given, I'd say from about 28 yards, 30 yards away from goal.
I've got a feeling Asante leaves his foot behind.
He may have, but I think he wasn't entirely certain that there was going to be a foot hitting it. He looked to have been tracking the progress of the ball when that contact was made.
I will give Asante credit though, it was a really brave sort of step, because he came from, I want to say, about 15-20 yards away and just sprinted to try and get that ball.
Indeed, and if we're talking about the movement, we should also add that he and Awusu Sakiri appear to have flipped sides. Awusu now on the right for the Richmond Kickers.
All right, this may be within shooting range, especially for Max Tissot's left foot, which the kicker seems to have a lot of faith in.
So you're banking on Tissot to take, not McCann?
Yeah, I think it's all a ruse. There you go.
You are correct.
Tissot's shot, saved by Dabovolsky. Kyle Smith collects. Did we put money on that? We didn't put money on that, did we?
We did not. We should have. Referee has not yet spotted that it's a throw-in. Did go out of bounds earlier. Now play stops for the throw-in for the Kickers.
I'm also betting Tissot takes his throw-in.
No bet.
Throws it to Lee. Lee collects. I feel like Evan Lee's been the farthest forward of all the Kickers back three. He seems to step up on that left a little bit. Maybe because Tissot gets farther forward than Alex Lee on this side. Williams with the ball into Brian Ombi's feet. Ombi touch and turn. And away he goes. Out left to Oscar Jimenez. Here comes Oscar. Loose ball collected by Norad. Quick play into the feet of Del Piccolo. Another nice crossfield pass collected by Smith. Headed on. Looking for Ballard. Evan Lee is there first. It's going to be a Louisville throw-in.
Free kick to Louisville there just a few seconds ago. Richmond Kickers head coach Lee Calishaw up off his bench again. Not usually that animated. I feel like that's not his game, is to be up, getting angry, getting in the face of the fourth official. But we've seen that a couple times so far this game.
He's talking to the refs, not to his players.
Maybe a little bit of both. I think he's talking to everybody.
Alex Lee has it.
We're now in the 20th minute here at City Stadium. That applause you might be able to hear will be the fans here applauding former Richmond Kickers player Kofi Ntee, passed away tragically, being honored, wore number 20 for the Richmond Kickers, hence in the 20th minute.
He's also a beloved youth coach as well here in Richmond, and I believe there'll be a presentation at half-time to Kofi Ntee's family. Louvel with the ball still. Oscar Jimenez gives it back to Norad. You should just be able to make out the fans holding up number 20, Kofi there. It's the Red Army holding up the banner. It's going to be a Louvel throw-in right in front of the Red Army, and there it is, the number 20 Kofi banner. Really nice moment here at City Stadium for the minute of applause there. All right, Louvel throwing. It's Tosh. Tosh to Smith. Back to Tosh. Del Piccolo back to Tosh again. Here's Oscar Jimenez. Norad, Del Piccolo. Into Williams. Williams tried to split the defense. Tissot is there. Tissot clears. Smith heads it back. Collected by Ballard. Williams collects from Ballard. Louvel getting forward here. That has come off of, I believe, Durkin, and is going to be a Louvel corner kick.
Good interception there, though, from Chris Durkin. Not entirely certain, I think, what was behind him, so instead just tries to put it out, slide in to put it out for safety.
I've noticed Durkin struggling to get involved when the kickers have the ball. It seems like he's not doing as good a job as McCann as sort of making himself open.
It's almost like he's, generally speaking, a center back who's playing defensive midfield.
He can do a bit of both. See a replay of the Tissot free kick there. Cleared by the kickers. Kyle Smith with a nice touch to collect. Goes out left. He's found Norad, who's got down this wing. Unfamiliar territory. Cleared out of bounds. The ball nearly made it to our commentary booth.
He was aiming for us.
Georgia Davis IV gives it to Del Piccolo. To Norad. To Tosh. Williams down the line. Good
really
turn
nice
by Ballard. Took the kickers by surprise. He's getting to the end line, cuts it back. Good step from Roberts. Flag is up on the far side. Referee saying play on. Durkin clears. Minatillo chases.
It's interesting. It looked like the side official, the assistant referee, was flagging Ballard for coming back into play and receiving the ball in an offside position.
Yeah.
I think hadn't noticed, though, that it came off of a Richmond Kickers player, Pat McCann, and that's why I think the center official let that one go.
I see. Williams gets a touch. Also draws the foul. It's going to be a Louvel free kick. Kickers absorbing most of the pressure here, Taylor.
It looks like we're going to have a booking for the Richmond Kickers, their first of the game. Goes to Evan Lee. Evan Lee for the foul there, gets the booking. Referee Danielle Chesky maybe just wanting to calm things down a little bit. One booking for each side. It has been a physical affair so far. Maybe just looking to police the game a little bit. Calm some tempers. Replay here, that infraction. You can see, yeah, it's just a little bit late from Evan Lee, just a little bit clumsy, just a little bit out of control. All three of those things combining to correctly earn a yellow card.
Reckless, I believe, is the word you're looking for. Cross comes in, held by Klenowski.
You're the man with the words, Mr. Grove.
Quick throw out. Alex Lee goes down the line. Cut out by Oscar Jimenez. Here's Speedy Williams. All the way back to keeper. It's Smith. Smith outright. George Davis IV wins that ball in the air. Ballard dribbling in field. Kickers backing off. Ballard still has the ball, goes outside. Shinovsky runs into him. I thought for a second we were looking at a penalty kick.
Instead, it looks like the officials there ruling that a little bit of shoulder-to-shoulder incidental contact. But that was exactly what you were talking about earlier. Evan Lee is the one in that back three who seems to be getting forward in that situation, thinks he's going to win that header, loses that 50-50 ball, and that's why you have that breakaway into space.
It's a good win from George Davis IV.
Some nice direct dribbling.
I think Shinovsky's lucky there.
You think so? Just because it looked like maybe the ball was gone? Just a little bit of late contact?
Yeah, if there's a bit more room to run into, I think he could have been accused of holding Ballard back.
Maybe
obstructing him, basically.
Recognizing the imbalance in pace, perhaps?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the flaw in Conor Shinovsky's game, is that he is not the fastest of centre-backs. Louisville would definitely be aware of that, so they'll be happy to have players like Ballard and Ownby running at him.
I think they would be maybe slightly happier had that penalty been ordered.
Alex Lee goes down the line to Awush Sakiri. Lifted down the line again. Won by Morad.
Maybe won a little bit too aggressively, or at least from the kicker's part. Free kick given.
I know Tosh outright to Carl Smith. They're going to try this right side again. Carl Smith bringing it forward. Goes back to George Davis IV, to Speedy Williams. Williams looks up, goes left to Oscar Jimenez. Ball through was out of range for Luke Spencer.
Yeah, basically, it essentially looks like that back three is going to try to hang out when Louisville come into the kicker's half. That back three for the Richmond Kickers are going to hang out right at the top of the 18, let the midfielders crowd in front of them, essentially let Louisville possess, put them under slow pressure, but not be too concerned about Louisville coming through the middle. I think content to let them try crosses or shots from distance.
It's a very conservative approach from the kickers. You think that's because there are so many players out, like attacking pieces like Uday Amora missing, experienced guys like Braden Troyer missing?
I do. I think it's also, you have, Braden Troyer especially has been starting defensive midfield for the Kickers. I think you want his kind of calming presence there. If you don't have that, you want to sit back a little bit more, just buy yourself a little bit more time, be a little bit more cautious.
Here's Tirso, lifts it down the line to Minatello, who's kept it in, but Tosh steps and wins. That's a really good win from the Louisville centre-back. Here goes Brian Ownby. Gives it back to Oscar Jimenez. I've seen Ownby accelerate a couple of times and then stop.
He did a lovely little no-look pass there as well.
I missed that. He got me with it. Here's George Davis IV. Into Del Piccolo. Now here's Kyle Smith. I've noticed Louisville's fullbacks. I was joking earlier about Pep Guardiola, but they do really like to step into midfield. Here's Smith again in the centre of centre midfield.
I think maybe trying to create an imbalance there, find a way through because the Kickers are stacked through the middle.
Yeah. I think a kicker's goal today looks like one big counter-attack.
I'd say that's a safe bet. That bet I also will not take. And while this goes out for a goal kick, we'll say soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Goal kick to be taken by Eric Klenowski for the Richmond Kickers. You see him waving everybody forward. This is the first time I've seen Klenowski play. He's on loan from DC United, and we'll see how big of a foot he has. Looks like exactly the halfway line. Headed on by Durkin, but collected by Louisville. Morad, faked going long, goes back to Dobrovolsky. Gets it back. Here's Morad. Lifts it out wide. That's a dangerous ball. Asante intercepts. Good work from Samuel Asante. Tissot gives it to him. Asante down the line to Tissot. Tissot with a little bit of space to cross. Crosses left-footed, deflected, held by Dobrovolsky. It's good work from Tosh to get in the way of that cross.
And good work, good work for Dobrovolsky to keep his body out of bounds, but keep that ball inbounds. Yeah. Much to the kicker's chagrin, all calling for it to be given as a corner kick, but correctly ruled to be inbounds. And now we have Louisville attacking down the left-hand side.
Ownby kept Jimenez's long ball in. Or maybe he didn't. It's going to be a goal kick to the Richmond Kickers.
Nice work there from Dobrovolsky.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. All right, Klenowski goes short. Here's Durkin with the ball. Chipped ball down the line. Couldn't quite find Alex Lee. Morad to Jimenez. Under pressure from Minatello. Now Tosh has a little bit of room to work in. Brings it forward. Kyle Smith collects. Kyle Smith in low. Tissot picks it up. Tissot steps forward. Tissot turns. Still has the ball. Gives it to McCann. To Durkin. Durkin drops it to Shinosky. Shinosky back to Klinowski. Goes left to Tissot, who's beaten in the air. McCann saves him though. McCann with the ball down the line. Here comes Asante. Asante up against Tosh. He's got away from him. Did Tosh get a toe in?
He did. Really nice little poke tackle. Any more could have been a penalty. He
I thought
pokes it
Asante
away
had left him.
just enough. I think he had. That last poke was all that I think was left, but really well done from Tosh there to win that ball, keep it clean, and then eventually win a throw-in for Louisville.
It's going to be Kyle Smith to take. Finds Del Piccolo. Takes it on his chest. Heads it back to Speedy Williams. It's not fully under control for Louisville, and kickers have picked it off. Durkin, good ball outright. Nice calm ball from the young man. Alex Lee goes in low. Ownby cuts it out. Now Speedy Williams brings it forward. Asking for options. Finds Ownby. Ownby has help from Jimenez. We have a 2-on-1 situation here on this left-hand side for Louisville. Ownby fakes it, goes inside again. Quick ball into Spencer. Good tackle from McCann. Settles for clearing it. Spencer, nice little move. Ownby strikes, side netting.
A lot of movement on that ball. I think if he hits it maybe a yard over, that is definitely in the back of the net there, because I don't think Klinowski could get down in time. I think saw it late.
It's impressive sort of interplay between Spencer and Ownby there.
And then between those two, and then also Oscar Jimenez getting forward, really causing the kickers problem, because you're having Alex Lee come out wide. Now you're having those gaps into which Brian Ownby can run.
This definitely has the air of a Brian Ownby goal today.
I did an interview with Louisville Sports Talk Radio earlier today, in which I said that Brian Ownby kind of terrified me, because I feel like he might have a point to prove.
Ushishikiri with a nice little rollover and a right-footed pass out to Max Tissot. Tissot on the left goes back to Evan Lee. Lee to Shinosky. Out to Malin Roberts. Roberts threads that to Ushishikiri, who's tackled by Speedy Williams. Del Piccolo now plays Spencer through. Spencer's going to get there. Spencer up against Shinosky. Spencer in the box. Cuts. Shinosky goes to ground, tackles, then blocks with his left foot. It's going to be a corner kick, but that's good last-ditch defending from Connor Shinosky.
Some good groundwork there from Shinosky.
Yeah.
First at the tackle, then to get up, then to block while still on the ground. Some good physical defending, but I'd say problematic defending if your one defender is having to cover two players. As we have the corner to be taken by Louisville into the sun.
At least now we know Connor Shinosky can dance.
That he can.
Corner comes in into the 6-yard box. Ball was loose.
Turned just wide there. I think nobody knew entirely certain what happened there, least of all the Richmond kickers. That ball easily could have been turned into the goal. Instead, it's out for a goal kick.
Was that Del Piccolo got a touch to that?
Del Piccolo got a kind of maybe unintentional flying volley there. Malin Roberts now on the ball for the kickers. Pushing it forward, I think maybe trying to be a little bit more adventurous. Goes for the long ball in. Minatello can't get on the end of it. And now it's Speedy Williams collects and plays to Del Piccolo.
Here's Oscar Jimenez. Back to Morad. Louisville have a bit of zip about them right now.
I think they've definitely had the better chances in this half. Starting to create, maybe can feel it coming a little bit. They're knocking on the door. Really want to press and get that opener before halftime comes.
Big ball out left from Williams, looking for Ownby. Ownby cannot keep it in. It was a little too big. Alex Lee takes the throw quickly to Roberts. Roberts, big heavy pass out to him. Lee keeps it in. But that's going to be collected by Jimenez, who heads it to Speedy Williams. Williams, nice little back heel to Del Piccolo. Ballard gives it him back. Williams goes left now. Here's Brian Ownby. Ownby in the box. Ownby goes this way, that way. Right-footed cross, headed out by Roberts. Collected by Asante. Cleared by Tissot. Minatillo holds it up. But then it's tackled. Wushi Sakiri with a good touch in the middle. Alex Lee to Durkin. Chris Durkin strides forward. Good outside of the foot pass to Alex Lee. Jimenez was wise to it. Now George Davis the fourth to Del Piccolo. To Ballard. Ballard, who's already had that really good run at the kicker's defense. And here he is getting out wide. Collects the ball up against Evan Lee. Cuts back. Goes outside. Fooled Evan Lee with that. Low cross came in. Shinosky got a foot to it.
Again, you see the cleverness of Ballard there. Spots the fact that neither Lee isn't entirely certain if he's supposed to step or not.
Speedy Williams shoots from the top of the box. Diving save from Klenowski. Well held.
And that's where that opportunity initially comes from. It's McCann and Lee not entirely certain knowing who should step at which time.
Yeah.
Instead, you've got Ballard running in through there. Leads to that Louisville shot. Something that the kickers are going to have to figure out hopefully at halftime if you're a Kickers fan.
I thought this was a pretty decent strike from Speedy Williams.
I think got a little deflection there. Klenowski does really well to hold.
Klenowski gets ready to go long. Wushi Sakiri wins that in the air, flicks it on to Minatello. Minatello puts Morad under pressure. Morad goes back to Dobrovolsky. Durkin, good touch on the chest. Pass inside to McCann. McCann to Roberts. Roberts back to McCann. Kickers under pressure from Louisville. Ownby bringing the pressure to Roberts here. McCann looking for a pass, looking for a pass. Goes down the line for Minatello. Minatello's got it. But it's going to be a Louisville throw-in.
I think Minatello thought there might be some contact there that might have been given from Morad, but instead it's a throw-in for Louisville.
There was a bit of grabbing. I feel that's a live by the sword, die by the sword situation for Minatello. Right?
Yeah. If you're going to grapple, you should expect to be grappled back.
Live by the shove, die by the shove. Speedy Williams in midfield. Kickers defending essentially have 4 central midfielders. That's what makes it so hard to go through the middle.
They're definitely blocking off that midfield. I think maybe very aware of the creativity and skill of the Louisville players.
But it's almost inviting Louisville to go wide and use Ownby and Ballard to run at them, right?
Except that you're finding Ownby coming inside, Ballard now wide, but also drifting inside a little bit. I think that's the game plan. Get them to come inside, get a little bit frustrated, and like I said earlier, force some shots.
Speedy Williams doing some pointing, gives the ball to George Davis the fourth. Oscar Jimenez takes a step forward. Ownby and his beard come inside, exchange passes with George Davis. Header from Roberts, but he's headed it down into the left wing to be collected by George Davis. Ownby again. Through ball a little long for Speedy Williams.
Dale Grove, you're aware that it's Louisville, the opponent, this evening. But in a few months, it's a Welsh opponent. That's right, because the Richmond Kickers announced this week that Swansea City of the English Premier League will return to City Stadium July 19th as part of the club's 25th anniversary season celebration. It's the 4th consecutive time a team from the Premier League will play in Richmond, and it's guaranteed to be the biggest party of the summer. Tickets are on sale now at richmondkickers.com.
I believe the Kickers beat Swansea City last time they visited.
And I believe that might have been the competitive debut of Chris Durkin as well, now starting in midfield. I guess that wouldn't be the competitive debut, would it? In an exhibition friendly.
Here comes Ballard. Ballard dribbling in the defence. He's found George Davis the fourth in the box. Davis the fourth shoots low. Klenowski held it, didn't hold it, then held it.
That is an accurate description of the events. As the Kickers possess, we've got the replay here of that opportunity for George Davis IV. And winds up, maybe gets it just a little bit too wide, so he can't get his hips around it as cleanly as he would have liked. Still causes problems, but no goal for Louisville, as it remains 0-0 here at City Stadium as we enter the 40th minute.
Roberts was blocked. Durkin has the ball there. That's okay. Shinosky has it. Out left to Evan Lee. Lee short into McCann. McCann to Tissot.
Tissot down the line. A little bit of contact there, no foul given. Louisville back the other way, trying to play direct there into Luke Spencer.
Here's George Davis the fourth. Bit of space to run into. Accelerates forward. He's taking the ball out. Roberts gives it to Spencer. Gets it back. Roberts cuts it out. Well done. Now Wusa Sikiri comes forward. Gives it to Asante. To Tissot. Back to Asante. I see Wusa Sikiri looking disappointed there that ball didn't find him down the line. There are a few sort of kickers, the beginnings of counterattacks that get closed down, and I think that's credit to the Louisville defensive midfielders for shutting it down quickly.
I'm guessing they astutely figured out that would be the kicker's game plan and are trying very hard to not let that counterattack build too successfully with too much time, putting the kickers under pressure pretty consistently.
All right, this time Sikiri finds Alex Lee out wide. Lee on his right foot. He shaped for the cross, then he came backwards. He's given it to Roberts. Roberts into McCann. Still Roberts. Now with Shinosky. Shinosky goes big. Sikiri has got there. Got a little shove in the back from Carl Smith. He's won the free kick.
He has. It's another shot to the back, though. Instead, it's not a free kick, excuse me. Offside given.
Oh.
So free kick to injury, I'm going to say there for the shove in the back as we see the replay here. It is a little nudge in the back there, but it won't matter for Kyle Smith because that offside was given first.
Adding offside to injury.
There it is.
Is the phrase you're looking for.
I'm not sure you heard it a few minutes ago there, Daryl, but Pat McCann actually turned and had some words with that attack because you basically had four Richmond kickers lined up in a straight line, very static. I think couldn't link up any plays. That's why he had to drop it back. Then had some words to the effect of, you should try to do something.
Was that the yelling I heard?
It was indeed.
Okay. Good step from Tosh.
I left out the expletives.
Okay, thank you. Brian Ownby on the left. Ownby gives it to Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo into Speedy Williams. Nice outside the foot pass. A little too far for Luke Spencer though. Now Tissot goes down the line, but only as far as Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith into Ballard. Ballard with another move. This time the kickers win it back. I'm very impressed by Ballard's sort of change of direction.
He's very quick in the way that he can check away, then check two. He makes the decision, gets on the end of the ball, and really causes some problems for the defenders.
Big challenge in the air from Alex Lee.
I think he's going to pick up his booking, second booking for the kickers, third overall in this match.
Let's say A for effort.
And why for yellow? Because I think it's a reckless challenge, not going straight up, obviously coming in. Doesn't look like he's ever going to get the ball. Instead goes right into the back of Oscar Jimenez.
It's definitely a yellow card.
Reckless, I believe is the term.
Oscar Jimenez, understandably not thrilled about that.
Understandably.
Yeah. It's going to be Morad to take the free kick. Exchanges passes with Del Piccolo.
Alex Lee needs to be careful here. He's still having words with Daniel Chesky on a yellow card. Maybe not the best decision to continue to have words.
You can only argue yourself into more cards, not fewer. Alex Lee's clearance blocked by Brian Ownby. Kicker's really under pressure here. Asante can't make any progress down the right here. He's run it straight out of bounds. Davis the fourth takes it quickly. Here he comes, George Davis the fourth to Del Piccolo. I've just noticed he's wearing the captain's armband.
He's the first in line when they came out.
Here's Oscar Jimenez to Del Piccolo. To Smith. Into Williams. Back to Smith. I think what I'm impressed with is every time I see Louisville passing the ball around like this, ball into the box, picked up off by Klenowski, I feel like there's always a plan. It's not just aimless possession. There's always an idea of working it forward, looking for an opening.
Yeah, it's very seldom swinging from right to left by kind of slow, plodding passes, putting your foot on the ball, turning, playing it back, 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 touch. It's a lot of 1 and 2 touch passing, very quick, and really good movement from Louisville. Anytime it does seem like everything is blocked off, you're having some switches, you're having some interchanges, and it seems like they're continuously being able to possess in a positive way.
Shinosky gives it to Roberts for the Kickers. Roberts, big right-footed switch to Tissot.
And Jill, I think a big part of that is the Kickers possess here, and we see Wusiskier drive forward.
Here comes Tissot. Tissot is in the box. Tissot crosses low. Good stretching block from Tosh.
It's going to be a corner for the Kickers, but I think a big reason why Louisville are able to have that really strong possession is because they seem to have adjusted the formation just a little bit, shifting from a 4-2-3-1, it looks like, into a 4-1-4-1, pushing one more midfielder in a more advanced attacking midfield position.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to get those numbers forward, I think recognizing that the Kickers are sitting back a little bit.
So Speedy Williams has gone forward a bit?
I think it's still an interchange between him and Del Piccolo.
Oh, but one of them stays and one of them always goes.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's going to be Fred Owusu-Sikiri to take this corner kick for the Richmond Kickers. So right-footed in-swinger. Big guys in the box. Ball floated in. Far post. Roberts has headed it just over.
And as that ball goes over and wide, it looks like halftime whistle goes as well. That's the end of the first half here at City Stadium. Scores still 0-0. I'm going to say, of the two sides, as we're about to get a replay here, of the two sides, you got to imagine Louisville happier but also more frustrated, given that they had, I'd say, far more clear-cut opportunities in that first half.
Let's see how close this Roberts header was.
It looks pretty close from our angle. Just a little bit high, just a little bit wide.
I'm going to say that is the Kickers' best chance of the half.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break for halftime here.
It still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
How can an elephant go undercover to ensure great customer service? Well, it goes a little something like this. I carefully prepare my disguise.
Yes, ma'am. We've got a tow truck on the way to you right now.
I approach with the utmost subtlety.
Absolutely.
I observe undetected.
Repairs include a lifetime guarantee.
And slip away without a trace. What? When my customers are happy, I'm happy. And when I'm happy...
More care, less cost. Discover the elephant difference at elephant.com. At CBS 6 News, we aren't confined by four walls. Our office is out here in our community. CBS 6 News at 11, working for you.
You can see the Ball Kids here at City Stadium. The Ball Kids for today's match are sponsored by Saxon Shoes. So looking back at this first half, Taylor, how are we feeling? If you're a Kickers fan, if you're a Louisville fan, how are we feeling?
As I said, I think if you're a Louisville fan, you're optimistic, maybe a little bit frustrated by some of the chances that were missed. If you're a Kickers fan, I think you're optimistic for a better second half.
So this seemed to be the story, was basically Louisville shots from the angles, a lot of coming in from the left and from the right. And for the Kickers, the story is a lot of set pieces. The best chance is definitely coming from set pieces.
I think you're absolutely right, Joe, that it's a lot of really, really crafty runs from Louisville that I think are really throwing off that kicker's defense. Even when there are 5 back there, as we see the nice free kick here from Maxime Tissot, it's really difficult for the kickers to track all those runs and figure out who needs to stay with whom, and that's why you're getting that space for the different Louisville attackers to get those shots. I think it's also key that we're having Luke Spencer for Louisville stay high and really cause problems in the middle because nobody really wants to step away from him, and he's creating space into which those Louisville attackers can run.
Who looks most likely to score for you? Specific player in there.
I mean, I think Brian Ownby's looks pretty lethal on the ball as we see a nice little cutback and a shot from Ownby. I think if he gets that on frame, if he gets that a little bit less under pressure, he might turn that on goal.
This may be the chance of the game, the Del Piccolo sort of surprise chance that he had?
I think, yeah, he basically goes for the volley around, it looks like Alex Lee, and I think is able to get a foot to it, and I think that maybe sums up this half. It's Louisville willing to try stuff, as we see that shot there from, I believe, Speedy Williams. They're able to get those shots off, to try different attacking opportunities. For the kickers, as we said, it's a little more route one, it's a little more set-piece driven.
Do you think we'll see any changes at halftime from the Richmond Kickers, or will Lee Calishaw be thinking, all right, we'll just keep defending, maybe one of those set pieces goes in?
I think we may not see any changes at halftime in like 46 minutes in. That said, if we were to, I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those 2 attackers for the kickers, either Samuel Asante or Fredewusa Sikire, maybe make way for somebody like Luis Fernando, who we know can be a little bit pacier and a little bit more direct with the ball at his feet in those counter-attacking situations.
I don't know, last week against New York Red Bulls, when the kickers went 1 down, eventually they took out one of the centre-backs. I think it was Evan Lee who made way and brought Anthony Grant in, so you went with 2 centre forwards. You've also got Oliver Minotaur, a guy that we've saw a little bit of in pre-season, looked really impressive. Coming back from injury, may be available at some point today.
Raul Gonzalez also on the bench, a new recent signing for the kickers, and then you've got Sonny Jane, who is warming up at halftime here. We know what he's capable of. Again, he's another kind of creative, skillful player who can be in the middle, who can shoot from distance with a little bit of confidence behind him.
We're going to take a short break. After the break, there will be a USL feature.
The stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
As we go into Week 3 play, let's take a look back at Week 2 of the USL season. Set up by Nonso Selbo, Carlton Belmar notched his 2nd goal in as many games to secure the 1-0 win for Swope Park Rangers against his former team, Portland Timbers 2. Louisville City converted on 3 of their 8 shots on target to take the win over Orlando City B 3-1, with Orlando's only goal coming off an own goal before half. Louisville came out strong in the second half and were able to put the game away with goals from George Davis IV and Luke Spencer. The Rochester Rhinos jumped out to a 2-goal lead, but in extra time before half, Bethlehem Steel cut the lead to 1 thanks to a Charlie Davies PK. Coming in off the bench, Johan Graf was able to seal the 3-2 win in the final 2 minutes for Rochester. New York Red Bulls 2 played strong defense, shutting out the Richmond Kickers 1-0 in their inaugural game at MSU Soccer Park. Zico Lewis found the back of the net in the 69th minute for the Red Bulls. Andrew Wiedemann and GB led FC Cincinnati to the 1-0 win in Pittsburgh, as GB notched his 2nd goal in as many games. The Riverhounds played most of the game with 10 men after Gale Agbasumide received his 2nd yellow of the game in the 42nd minute. Phoenix Rising struggled to combine in the attacking half as Real Monarchs took the 2-0 win at home, winning their 2nd game in a row as Phoenix fell to 0-2 to start the season. 0-0 at half, the Charlotte Independents controlled 62% of the game's possession, but the Charleston Battery put 2 away within 7 minutes to top Charlotte 2-0 in the Southern Derby. 2 home games, 2 wins for the Tampa Bay Rowdies to open their USL slate. Michael Nanchoff led the team with 2 assists as he set up Damian Lowe and Georgi Rostov early in the first half for the first 2 goals of the game, as the Rowdies handled Toronto FC 2-4-0. Oklahoma City Energy FC took to the road for the second week in a row as they faced off with the Colorado Springs Switchbacks in snowy conditions. The game ended in a 1-1 draw with first half goals for both sides as neither team was able to find the difference maker in the second half. Tulsa earned their second win of the season and handed RGV their second loss as Joey Calistri found the back of the net for Tulsa in the 31st minute. A sellout crowd of 5,566 watched St. Louis earn their first win of the season, a 3-2 victory over Ottawa Fury FC, thanks to an own goal deflection in the 88th minute. Billy Forbes led his team for the second week in a row, this week a goal and an assist in a 3-0 win over LA Galaxy 2. Rafael Castillo notched a goal for himself off Forbes' assist as San Antonio starts their 2017 season 2-0. Brennan Griffiths will be the name remembered for Reno 1868's first goal in the history of the club, but neither Reno nor Vancouver Whitecaps 2 could completely pull away as the game ended in a 1-1 draw. Wilson Nishan Sammy Ochoa led the charge as Sacramento Republic FC delighted a sellout crowd of 11,569 fans to a 4-0 win over Orange County FC. Nishan finished the game with 1 goal and 1 assist, combining with Ochoa, who finished with 2 goals. And that's your look around the league. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You know you guys all get one, right?
Oh. CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
I'm gonna leave.
Choose between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.
Welcome back to City Stadium. We are ready to take a look at the halftime stats presented by GRTC.
Indeed, we've got four shots. It is not 3-0 to the Kickers. 4 shots for the Kickers, 6 for Louisville City. The interesting stat there is that shots on goal. Kickers have managed the 1 so far, 3 for Louisville City. I'd say that maybe tells you the story of the first half. The Kickers have been able to get a few shots here and there. Louisville getting more shots, more on target.
It's really been more about set pieces though, right? I cannot think of a kicker's shot from open play. I can think of the Roberts header. I can think of the Tissot free kick. Tissot free kick. Everything's been set pieces. Whereas for Louisville, it really feels like they're in the process of creating something that ends with ball in net.
And it is also interesting when you're looking at those stats, worth noting 2 yellow cards there for the Richmond Kickers, 1 for Louisville City. We may see a couple more cards in this game because it doesn't look like it's going to be any less physical in the second half.
It's pretty physical, right?
It has,
absolutely. I want to say nothing that I would call nasty, just a lot of very committed challenges, even when maybe there's not a great chance of winning that ball.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking specifically of that Alex Lee when he went up for that header and flattened Oscar Jimenez.
Yeah.
It was great commitment, but it was also, there was no way he was getting to that.
No, I think it's a sign that both teams are up for it. They're trying to make things happen, but there are those situations in which trying to make something happen can be a bit problematic. We have the Kickers now back out on the field. Louisville have not yet emerged from the locker room. Maybe they're adjusting things just a little bit more in those remaining few seconds before the second half gets underway.
And really, I mean, the more I've had time to think about what happened in the first half, I would prefer to see the Kickers adjust things, just in terms of maybe opening this game up and giving themselves more of a chance. Because I don't think the Kickers' defence can withstand another 45 minutes of Louisville moving the ball around, creating space and opening gaps in the Kickers' defence. One of those is going in.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I think maybe one tweak we might see. We do have, it looks like the exact same 11 that left the field coming back onto it for the Kickers. Maybe we'll see them shift into a back 4, try to get some more numbers into midfield, try to get some more possession in Louisville's half as opposed to maybe looking long and then building off that long ball.
So you thinking of a change in shape? Anyone moving around?
It could be, you might have Lee drifting up a little bit further forward, not Alex Lee, excuse me, Evan Lee, maybe pushing forward a bit just to try to give you some more numbers in that midfield. But we shall see what happens once they spread out once kickoff occurs. We'll see if they're still in that back 3 or in a back 4.
And a reminder, the yellow cards for the Kickers are Evan Lee and Alex Lee.
Yep, the Lees.
The Lees. The Lees are on the yellow cards.
Yeah, I believe George Davis IV for Louisville, the yellow carded player there.
So everybody with a yellow card has at some point played for the Richmond Kickers.
Well said.
I actually feel like George Davis IV has been the low-key threat here for Louisville. We haven't said his name as much, but he's the guy who's maybe going to sneak into one of those spaces.
I think so. I think he's done a really good job of playing off of Luke Spencer and of finding those gaps in the midfield and then spreading the ball wide, shifting back and forth, maybe getting out of the way so Brian Ownby can cut inside, maybe getting out of the way so Richard Ballard can cut inside.
Richard Ballard, a player I'd never really seen much of before today, someone I'm now very, very impressed with.
Absolutely. Really pacey, very clever, and he's got that sort of the Brian Ownby strength as well, where you kind of back them to win that shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, even if they look slight of frame.
Do you think maybe they practice against each other?
Yeah, that could be.
The Ballard v. Ownby shoulder challenge.
The tough guy practice.
Yeah.
Looks, based on the way the Kickers are lining up, that they are still going to be in that back 3.
Yes, 100%. One guy I'd like to see a little more of from the Kickers is Chris Durkin. I feel like, not that he's been hiding, but just that he hasn't done a good job of making himself open to receive the ball. Because I know he's only 17, but he really is one of the guys who has that extra bit of quality.
It looks a little bit like he hasn't backed himself to go forward with the ball. The few times he has, we saw that one outside of the foot pass that went out, or I believe was intercepted. So it seems like maybe he's not quite as confident going forward as he is sitting back and defending.
I think he's better at playing a more aggressive game as well, so when the Kickers are having to sit back, it's not as easy for him to be picking off passes.
There we are.
All right, we are almost ready for kickoff. We are ready for kickoff. Second half is underway here at City Stadium. McCann gives it to Roberts. Roberts takes his time and shanks it out of bounds. Bad start for the Kickers.
I'm going to say, in terms of ideal second half starts, that's not one.
That's towards the bottom, right? Okay. Oscar Jimenez with the throw in here, if he can find a ball. There we go. Ball Kids, sponsored by Saxon Shoes, have got the ball to Oscar Jimenez.
They got their credit at halftime. Now they're not so inclined to work.
Ball thrown down the line. Alex Lee shepherds it out of bounds. Did a good job there. Klenevsky's going to take the goal kick for the Kickers. So I'm having a little... Was that a practice swing or was that a fake out to Evan Lee? I think it was a fake out to Evan Lee.
A dramatic fake. Instead, goes short to Malin Roberts.
Yeah. Roberts brings it forward.
Ish.
Centrally. Connor Shanowski brings it forward now.
Ish.
Goes left to Evan Lee. He has to bring it forward or he's going out of bounds. There we go. Lee down the line. Tissot tried a little flick, little back flick down the line. Could not find Owusu Sekiri, who I don't think was too impressed that that fancy pass didn't get to him.
No, I think he wanted the ball over the top into the channel.
Yeah. McCann was late. Looked like he got his cleats down the calf of Del Piccolo there.
Yeah, maybe on the outside of the boot as well there. And he acknowledged it immediately. I think that's why no card given. There's a little bit of an apology wave. I'm not sure if that satisfied Del Piccolo, but satisfied Daniel Chesky in the middle.
With Del Piccolo now with a pass to Speedy Williams. Williams, good quick pass out to Carl Smith. Smith gets there and wins a free kick. It looks like Tissot's hand maybe.
Looks like, chipped it up into Tissot's right hand. Free kick given and taken quickly by Louisville.
Here comes Tosh. Tosh with the ball to Kyle Smith.
As Louisville possessed, we see the replay of that handball here. Yeah, just a little bit ran in from Tissot. Maybe intentional? Maybe felt like he might be beaten.
I want to say instinctual. Here's George Davis IV in the corner. Has the ball. Crouches down low when he has the ball. Like Garincha. I'm sure he'd like that comparison.
Yeah.
George Davis IV exchanges passes with Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith rolls it around. Toe in from Evan Lee. Owusu Sakiri has it. Owusu Sakiri fighting. George Davis IV gives it to Ballard. Ballard, quick change of direction. He has it at the top of the kicker's box. Shoots. Hits Malum Roberts. Block shot at the top of the box. You see Owusu Sakiri at the bottom of your picture here on the floor. That's why Tissot's going to let it run out of bounds so Owusu Sakiri can get treatment. This is the second time we've seen Owusu Sakiri on the floor.
Looks like there was a physical incident there between Owusu Sakiri and Speedy Williams as they're both getting up. Speedy Williams did give him a little bit of shove. I don't think that caused any more pain from Owusu Sakiri, but still that's why he shakes away that attempted handshake from Speedy Williams. Sakiri getting a little bit of physicality there, gets a hand on the back. Then I think is quick to put his arm out to try to block Speedy Williams. Goes down, and it is that left shoulder, it looks like, that is in pain for Owusu Sakiri. There's the hand to the back of the head from Speedy Williams. Again, not too aggressive, not a slap, anything like that, but maybe just letting him know I didn't appreciate your earlier hand to my chest neck face.
Owusu Sakiri getting treatment, but it does look like he'll be able to continue, so he'll be able to resume battle with Speedy Williams.
I mean, we did dub him Battling Fred last year. I think you can see why in that image. Attempting to hold off two players while still maintaining possession. And play resumes, Louisville throw it back. Good bit of sportsmanship there from Louisville City.
Kickers temporarily with 10 men while Owusu Sakiri receives treatment on the sidelines. Here's Connor Shinosky to Evan Lee. Lee puts a move on Ballard. Shoes on the other foot for a change. Minatello holds it up, does really well, gets it to Tissot. It's the first time kickers have really connected through Minatello. Now Asante. Asante finds Minatello. He looks up, tries to chip it out right. That's worked out, kind of. Louisville clear.
I think that was a mishit ball there from Minatello. He did have Alex Lee running in behind. I think he was trying to put that kind of like chipped backspin on it. Instead, he put a little bit too much backspin on it in the sense that he played it lateral as opposed to diagonal.
Big throw down the line from Roberts. Bounces into Minatello, who's kept it in. Couldn't find the feet of Lee. Ownby has it instead. Everybody fighting for the ball on that far side. Ownby comes away with it. Durkin steps. Durkin still has it. Good quick feet from Durkin. And a spin.
This looks more like U6 ball than it does professional soccer. Just scrum on the ball, lots of contact, lots of physicality.
Evan Lee got to that ball down the line, but Ballard picked it up. McCann comes out of there. Owusu Sakiri has it, gets away from Speedy Williams. Really, I thought a really good pass into the path of Samuel Asante. Doesn't get the free kick though, so now here come Louisville. Del Piccolo into Spencer.
You thought it was a really good pass. I think Samuel Asante thought it was a lot of physicality. Maybe a foul there. He gets up and lets the official know he wasn't pleased with her decision, or lack thereof.
Ownby's in behind. Ownby goes low. Shinosky blocks it. That's where Shinosky is at his best, just having to make those blocks at the near post. Not at his best when a fast guy runs at him.
We see Ownby get in behind. Malin Roberts slides in, isn't able to cut it out. Connor Shinosky is, although I'm not sure it was exactly the way he meant to put it out of bounds. And now we're going to have some words in the box. Again, the shoving, the jersey pulling. Referee Daniel Chesky having none of it, saying final warning.
Corner comes in from Louisville here.
Oscar Jimenez looks short.
Very clever ball, I think, to Ballard. Kickers win it back though. Wusikiri chips it into the path of Asante. Step and win from Speedy Williams. Now here's George Davis the fourth to Williams. Williams on the left wing, goes backwards. Jimenez, George Davis. Morad finds Carl Smith, who's come in field. Smith to Ombi. Ombi on the right now. Still with Smith. Now Ombi on the right wing. Looks like he's going to start drifting back towards his favoured left wing.
I think George Davis IV has taken that spot to Ownby, staying central for now as the ball comes back wide for Louisville.
Ball nearly found Ownby in that gap. Worrying for the kickers that gap was even there though.
Well, I think, again, that's the problem that you have when you're playing against that 4-2-3-1, when you've got those three attacking midfielders who are very adept at switching roles. So you have the central midfielder go left, the left midfielder go right. It's difficult to track. It's difficult to know who exactly needs to be marking whom. And in that uncertainty, you can have those opportunities.
Here's Spencer. Nice turn. Roberts with a good step, though. Shinosky into the feet of McCann. Gets it back. Shinosky back to McCann. Now McCann finds Lee. Evan Lee. Evan Lee left-footed down the line. Looking for Wusikiri. Wusikiri was definitely prepared to hold that up again. Tissot with the throw to Lee. Lee one-times it to McCann. Gets it back. Kickers seem trapped on this left wing. Lee nice outside of the football though. Now Wusikiri back to Minatello. Minatello holds it up, gives it to Tissot. Tissot looks up, crosses, left-footed, hits Tosh in the back.
I think that might have hit Tosh in the back of the head. He looks like he's shaking it off a little bit, trying to get his head clear. You took one of those the other night, Daryl.
That was to the front of the head.
Yeah.
So I have a bruise on the bridge of my
I was going to say, also known as the face.
Yeah. Shinosky with the ball. Shinosky out to Roberts. Durkin lays it back. Klinowski goes long. Just over the halfway line. Good win from Speedy Williams. But he came back to Wusikiri. Turns and volleys that pass out left to Tissot. Tissot up against Carl Smith. Tissot cuts inside. Tissot's low pass was blocked. Kickers get it back. McCann's low cross. I think they saw that coming.
I believe they did. I'm not sure if he meant to hit that low or if he was trying to, again, chip it up for the head, the big frame of Minatello. Instead, played on the ground, intercepted, and now Louisville break slowly with the ball.
There is space, though. Now kickers have all got themselves behind the ball. Here's Kyle Smith, the right back. Has Ballard outside of him. Comes inside. Good sliding lunge from Tissot. More fight from Wusikiri in midfield. Kickers not making it easy for Louisville this half.
They're not. Wusikiri chief among them in terms of that physicality. Not afraid to go into a tackle, not afraid to try to hold off a challenge. Invite that contact, make it more physical than maybe Louisville would like. I think Louisville trying to play the ball on the ground, play quickly. Richmond slowing that up, certainly, in the second half.
I would say the kickers still don't look very incisive in their counter-attacks, though. Like you saw that Tissot long ball there, just aiming for Minatello. There's really only Minatello and Asante, no one else charging forward.
I think that's why you're seeing Brian Ownby in the middle, talking with the other attackers, trying to get a little bit more movement, a little bit more interchange there as we see Ownby pick that ball up, a slip from Shinosky.
Ownby at the top of the box, Ownby shoots! Clipped onto the post by Klinowski. I'm sure Brian Ownby thought that was the opening goal of the game.
Throwing out for Louisville City to be taken quickly.
All right, Carl Smith on the ball. Carl Smith goes central to Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo to Oscar Jimenez. Jimenez got it caught under his feet but still has it. Gives it to Del Piccolo. Louisville back to moving the ball around.
Looks like we're going to have a change upcoming for the Richmond Kickers. Looks like Anthony Grant is going to be coming on.
I'm guessing a straight replacement for Mikey Minatello.
Minatello does look a little bit tired, has been doing a lot of running, has been doing a lot of physical play.
Anthony Grant I think of as more of a, not as physical a striker, more of a sort of connecting striker.
Indeed.
So I think we can expect fewer long balls. Here's a replay of that Ownby shot.
Ownby definitely ran off to celebrate, took a few little premature steps as now the kickers break. Minatello on the ball.
Out wide to Asante. Asante looks up. Asante shoots from distance. It's blocked. He gets it back. Asante now on the right wing. Asante to Alex Lee. Lee plays it in low. Morad clears. Roberts is going to meet it. Heads it down. Into Durkin. Durkin, nice little change of direction. Durkin chips down the line for Asante to chase. Dabrowski collects. Dabrowski's quick throw out, blocked by Minatello. Now he's going to have to kick it. Low kick from Dabrowski. Ballard read it, ducked and turned. He's beaten Evan Lee. Now he's in the corner. Here goes Ballard. Ballard looking for a ball into the box. Plays it in low. Evan Lee got himself in the way, but it's going to be a Louisville corner kick. Evan Lee, good recovery there.
And before that corner kick be taken, we are going to see the change for the kickers, it looks like. Actually, it looks like the center official there, Daniel Chesky, is going to wave it off, wait until after this corner kick is taken.
Corner from Oscar Jimenez. Served in, left-footed. Headed out. Speedy Williams has it. To Smith. Out left to George Davis the fourth. Yes, George Davis the fourth on the left and Ownby in the middle now for Louisville, and it seems to be working for them. Here comes Speedy Williams. Chips it back out left. George Davis the fourth up against Owusu Sakiri. Gives it to Williams. Into Ownby. Ownby top of the box. Back to Williams. Williams sees Kyle Smith. Really good ball into Smith's feet. Smith kills it dead. Up against Tissot. Now Williams finds Ballard. Ballard twists and turns and gives it to Carl Smith. Smith's pass is short. Durkin intercepts. Kickers have it back. Durkin loses out to Smith there, but was strong. Still has it. Now Tissot. Tissot with a turn. Goes back to Lee. Evan Lee clears. The kickers could not pass that out of the back. They had to go long in the end.
That looked like it was shoulder to shoulder there between Owusu Sakiri and Oscar Jimenez. Jimenez instead wins that free kick, taken quickly. Louisville back in possession.
George Davis the fourth on the left. Gets to the end line, crosses low. Held by Klinowski. If this ball never goes out of bounds, we won't be able to get Anthony Grant on the field.
Now there's a foul off the ball there. It looks like Ownby gave a little bit of a shove to Owusu Sakiri. Now he's going to get a talking to. And now it looks like we are going to have that change. It is going to be Minatello making way for Anthony Grant. That substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance. And while we have the stoppage in play, fans, stay up to date on all the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune in to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XMFC, that's channel 85. Also, don't forget Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check uslsoccer.com for dates and times.
Durkin went down the line, looking for Asante. Tosh gets there, plays it off of Asante.
And it looks like it's going to be handball there, I'm guessing is the call.
Ooh, that's harsh. I mean, his hands were sort of just in his body and the ball just... There's also the distance of ball, the distance of the ball to the player is supposed to be taken into account. There were bigger things to complain about, I guess.
It's a tough life for Samuel Asante.
All right, Chris Durkin steps and plays it into Anthony Grant. Chris Durkin getting more and more involved in this game. Louisville win it back. Tosh to Speedy Williams. Good first-time pass from Williams to Morad. Oscar Jimenez into the feet of Ownby. Loose touch from Ownby. Alex Lee takes it off him and wins a free kick. We've seen this before with Ownby at City Stadium. He starts getting a little bit pushy, a little bit fouly.
I'm guessing even though he made a show of coming back to pull Alex Lee up off the ground, I'm going to guess one more in the next 3 minutes is going to be a yellow card for Brian Ownby.
Yeah, because they've both been talking to so far. Yeah. I remember Ownby at City Stadium. It was always the part of his game that I sort of liked and didn't like at the same time, because you always knew he was combative and competitive, but it was always a little bit too much and usually resulted in a yellow.
Definitely a double-edged sword there.
Shinovsky to Lee. I think that ball was out of bounds. It definitely is now.
Was it when it hit the bleachers that you knew it was out of bounds?
Yeah.
Is that when it occurred to you?
Kyle Smith to Ballard. Good change of direction from Ballard outside the foot pass. Tosh to Morad. Morad out left to Oscar Jimenez. Anthony Grant, a willing runner right now. He is chasing around, trying to close off passes, close off angles. Del Piccolo puts it down the line. Malin Roberts is there, though. He's going to shepherd this all the way out of bounds.
He is.
That was an impressive feat.
It was. He does have a few inches on Oscar Jimenez, but still an impressive battle there. I think Anthony Grant, for his part, looking to impress. He did start that week 1 game, did not start last week against New York. Instead, it was Mindatillo, so maybe this is Grant's opportunity to stake his claim for that starting spot up top for the Kickers. So I'm going to guess a lot of hard work and running for the remaining second half for Anthony Grant.
Now Alex Lee to Durkin. Durkin, good pass, good switch of play to Tissot. Tissot collects on his left. Tissot infield to Asante. Evan Lee now. To McCann.
So that ball from Durkin out wide has been on really this entire half and most of the first half too. It just seems like the Kickers have been a little bit more calm in possession, not really looking to hit that long ball.
Yeah,
maybe a sign
central,
of
right?
the change in game plan.
I saw Tissot give a bit of a jersey pull there. Free kick taken quickly. Louisville have it back in play in the back. Dobrovolsky has put that out of bounds. It's
Good pressure from Anthony Grant there. Nice 30 yards of chase. Forces the Louisville goalkeeper into playing that ball out of bounds.
Durkin crosses from the right. Smith missed the header. Tissot cuts inside the box. Tissot cuts back again. Good tackle in the end from Ballard. Now Tissot collects the ball in the corner. Tissot has Smith pushing against him. Plays it off of him, wins a corner kick. Richmond Kickers, corner kick. We are 63 minutes and 35 seconds into this game. It is 0-0 at City Stadium.
Knowing how cultured of a left foot Maxime Tissot has, were you surprised he cut it back there? It seemed like he could have put that shot on frame.
I think he was just looking for the perfect opportunity to cross.
Yeah, all I can think is that maybe he knows that the Louisville players know that he's got that strong left foot, so maybe he thinks they'll overcommit to block that left foot, so if he cuts it back a little bit, he'll get a cleaner shot with that right foot. Instead, Louisville defenders did well, and now the Kickers have this corner.
Corner comes in from Uwais Sakiri. It was right into the penalty area. Referee calls a foul on Richmond. Taken quickly, Louisville on the break here. I think this is Jimenez breaking. Plays it over the top for George Davis the fourth. Good defending from Alex Lee. Durkin turns 360 and wins the free kick. How cultured is Tissot's left foot? I want to say it's a regular visitor to many museums. Sometimes without it. Evan Lee to Connor Shinovsky. Malin Roberts brings it forward. The switch looking for Tissot. Carl Smith got ahead to it. Tissot, I think, wisely let that go, knew that the throw-in was going to be Richmond Kickers. Okay, Evan Lee with the ball now.
Tissot's been doing a lot of running this second half. I think he wasn't too inclined to run real hard there.
Durkin lost out to Ownby and then won it back. And Ownby has won himself a free kick. Ownby asking for a card, I think. Somewhere he's thinking, kids today.
Are you allowed to ask for a yellow card for a juvenile? I don't know if that's allowed. You see the replay there? It just looked like maybe a little bit of that strong grapple. Ownby loses out, but referee says maybe it was a free kick there. And now it's going to be another free kick.
And Davis the fourth with battling in the corner there. Looks like Roberts gave away a free kick.
It seems like Daniel Chesky now really trying to cut down on any amount of physical play here. I think because both teams have been resorting to a lot of, we're seeing those like 50-50 challenges as I demonstrate on my my play-by-play commentator here.
I wasn't going to tell you.
But it's a lot of those challenges that are stepping, but then also there's a little bit of an arm at the end. There's a hand left out.
Yeah.
I think maybe she just wants to make sure that nothing gets too violent.
I think it's the right call.
I think so too. It's a little shove from Malin Roberts that maybe didn't need to take place.
Cross is in, it's cleared. Now Asante wins it back. That's really good play from Samuel Asante. Chip down the line. Anthony Grant chases, but it's gone out of bounds. Louisville throwing. Taken too far down the field. Daniel Chesky says, walk it back, walk it back. Throwing down the line. Roberts gets there, puts it out of bounds. Here's Ownby. Quick spin and pass backwards. Tosh. Tosh goes direct. Ballard takes down his chest. Couldn't quite bring it down. Durkin goes back to his keeper. Tanofsky plays it out. Louisville throwing.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com.
Smith to Ownby. Back to Smith. Smith goes to Morad. Morad immediately under pressure, but calmly plays it out to Del Piccolo, who swings it left to Oscar Jimenez. Jimenez calls for a bit of help. Gets it from George Davis IV. Good little slipped pass into Luke Spencer there. Luke Spencer couldn't beat Alex Lee on that far side there. Richmond kick is thrown after Del Piccolo could not control that ball.
Kicker seemed to be in no rush to take this throw in.
Yeah.
It's going to be Malin Roberts. Kalashaw up off his bench again, giving some instructions. We're trying to get his midfield a little bit more disciplined as Louisville are starting once again to assert that dominance in possession.
We're approaching the 17th minute here. Taylor, did you see any signs of impending substitutions from the kickers bench?
I do not. I see a couple players warming up. I see the same couple players warming up for Louisville on the opposite side. Have been since late in the first half for both teams.
Good work from Anthony Grant. He's got this ball down the line.
Asking you shall receive, Daryl Grove.
Sakiri crosses, headed up and headed away. And now Ownby can break. Ballard takes over.
We are going to have a change for Louisville. Just as you asked that, their assistant ran across, called somebody over.
Ownby to Ballard. Ballard let it run past him. Evan Lee steps. Game just starting to open up a little bit here. Durkin to Evan Lee. Lee's got space to bring it forward. They're backing off of him. They're backing off of him still. Oh, he waited too long for the pass. Tissot not thrilled about that. Kickers could be in trouble here. Here goes Ownby. Ownby to Spencer. Spencer goes at Roberts. Roberts steps and plays it off of him. Now here's George Davis IV. George Davis IV running at Alex Lee. Into Del Piccolo. To Speedy Williams. To Ballard. Back to Williams. Williams goes wide right to Carl Smith. Carl Smith up against Tissot. Goes back to Williams.
Daryl, you clearly know something that I do not. Because as soon as you asked that, two kickers players were also called over to the bench. Lots of changes coming up for both teams.
It just felt like that time. Tissot, left-footed Tissot. Finds Owusu Sakiri.
I think it's going to be Luis Fernando for the kickers. I think it might be Oliver Minitel as well for the kickers.
A couple of attacking subs. Will Lee Kalashaw be brave enough to take off a centre-back to put on a forward? That seems a risky move at 0-0.
We'll soon find out, but first we're going to find out that Richard Ballard is coming off. Not sure who's coming on for him. Looks like it might be Niall McCabe. We'll find out when the board goes up, since we're a good 100 yards away. Can't quite read the number on the shorts.
Niall McCabe, I know, can pick out a pass. I think he got an assist last week against Orlando City B. But if I'm the kickers' defence, I wouldn't be sad to see the back of Ballard. Here's Spencer. Spencer has it on the left wing. He's up against Shanosky. He accelerates past Shanosky, down the left, cuts back, finds the feet of Ballard. Ballard's first touch wasn't good. Ball is cleared by the kickers.
And unfortunately for Ballard, that is going to be his last kick of the game. It is going to be Ballard coming off, and it is going to be Niall McCabe coming on for Louisville City.
He'll be thinking, I could have left this game a hero. Or I could have stayed in this game.
It felt like that for a moment. It felt like that was going to be his sign-off. Take that touch, bury the ball, and then jog off. Instead, it's just jogging off, and on comes Niall McCabe. This substitution presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Here is Niall McCabe. I think Niall McCabe is going to take the central spot, and Ownby's going to go out right. He said with a question mark at the end. But here's Ownby on the right, collects the ball from Smith, and gets it back as Smith lifts it down the line. Another Louisville throw-in. Smith into McCabe. McCabe back to Smith. Ownby has it. Ownby to McCabe. McCabe's pass is loose. Uwusu-Sakiri plays it off of McCabe to Tiso. Tiso goes down the line. Grant challenges. Tosh challenges harder. Good touch from Asante. Grant couldn't collect. Samuel Asante done a lot of hard work and nothing has quite come off.
It is not, and I think for that hard work, he's going to be repaid with a substitution here in just a few seconds. It looks like Luis Fernando is going to be coming on for Samuel Asante.
Here's Brian Ownby on the right, up against Tiso. Back to Smith. Smith square to Speedy Williams. Speedy Williams square again to Del Piccolo. Out left to Oscar Jimenez. Uwusu-Sakiri wins that back. Ball is loose. Morad's going to collect it. So we got a good look at Luis Fernando. He started the game against the New York Red Bulls. Seemed to be trying a lot of tricks, maybe when it wasn't necessary. I feel like he wasn't the ideal player for a more defensive game, but coming on late in a game like this, he could be the guy that opens things up a bit.
I'm going to say Luis Fernando player never short on confidence when it comes to trying those tricks and flicks.
Speedy Williams collects in midfield. Speedy Williams short pass to Brian Ownby. Ownby tried to slip McCabe in. Instead, Carl Smith has slipped McCabe in. McCabe gets the ball on the right, crosses. Header by Spencer. Cleared by Alex Lee. Cleared again by McCann. And Uwusu-Sakiri battles for it, doesn't win it. Speedy Williams into Brian Ownby. Ownby to McCabe. McCabe back to Ownby. Ownby couldn't collect. Kickers have it now. McCann goes long. Tosh heads it into the path of Morad. Very calm header by Tosh.
Very calm header, very calm defending there by the Richmond Kickers, though. I think Connor Szymanski looked like he was going to smash it long, then realized maybe just that short pass was the ideal way to go.
Uwusu-Sakiri cut out that pass, shoots from distance. I think he saw the keeper off his line, thought, I'm going to chip Dobrovolsky.
Instead, Dobrovolsky collects, and Anthony Grant maybe not so thrilled with that decision, given that I think he closed about 30 yards to try to get into space there.
Speedy Williams goes left. George Davis IV gets there. Davis IV has it. He's up against Durkin and Alex Lee. He finds Luke Spencer. Spencer from distance shoots. That ball is going to roll wide.
Two changes now for the Kickers. It is going to be Samuel Asante coming off and Luis Fernando replacing him. It doesn't seem like he knows that yet. And it looks like Chris Durkin has come across to get instruction. It isn't Chris Durkin who's departing the field of play just yet.
We'll find out in a second when the big board goes up.
Both of these substitutions for the Richmond Kickers brought to you by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Klinowski waits to take this goal kick.
And it was Evan Lee, number 8, the third center back, coming off. So it looks like the Kickers are either going to change their formation or it's going to be Chris Durkin dropping back. Yep. That seems more likely.
Okay, so now the 17-year-old Chris Durkin is going to play left centre back in place of Evan Lee. And you're going to have Anthony Grant with it looks like Minotaur to his left and maybe Luis Fernando to his right.
And then Uwusu-Sakiri dropping back into the midfield with McCann.
All right, a really positive move from Coach Lee Calishaw for these final 15 minutes. Backing up for what looks like might be a big throw. Alex Lee, I think, to take.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Lee throws long. Louisville break. Through ball for Spencer to run onto. Uwusu-Sakiri has him in the corner. Spencer cuts inside, still has it. Referee says play on. Spencer in the box, cuts away from Alex Lee this time. Spencer goes just wide.
Looks like blocked out, going to be a corner kick for Louisville. I think the Kickers players, even having played against him this entire game, maybe not expecting Spencer to be quite so fast for how big he is.
He suddenly has this extra gear that a guy his size should not have.
Well, I think when you take two steps and you've gone 10 yards, that helps you look pretty fast. That said, also very quick on his feet, does well to ride that challenge, then cut back inside as this corner is delivered for Louisville. Scrum in the box.
Overhead kick. Oh, and he eventually lands into the hands of Klinowski. Did a Louisville player get a touch on that in the 6-yard box?
Indeed.
Here's Durkin on the ball. Durkin accelerates away from McCabe, brings it out the back, goes long. Ball for Anthony Grant. Anthony Grant's going to try and keep this in play. Can't quite get there.
Yeah, I think that Louisville player was Del Piccolo, so he's the master of getting just a foot to it inside the box, but can't quite turn it in.
We'll get one more look at it to see if it was Del Piccolo.
But first, we are going to have a substitution for Louisville. It is going to be Brian Ownby making way. Nice bicycle kick there. Del Piccolo just gets a foot to it, but Richmond Kickers goalkeeper Klinowski in the right position to hold.
So
and it's going to be Brian Ownby, Mark Anthony Kay coming on for Louisville. And this substitution in the 77th minute is presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Carl Smith takes the throw. Carl Smith, the ball forward is cut out by Minatel. Williams under pressure from Minatel. Owusu Sakiri collects in midfield. Here goes Fred Owusu Sakiri. Cuts it inside for Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando dances a little bit. Ball out left to Tissot, who wisely ignores the second ball. Crosses it into the box. Tissot heads it back into the box. Mix up in the box. Anthony Grant has it. Eventually it is cleared by, I believe, Morad. Roberts to Durkin. To Owusu Sakiri. Shinoski back to Durkin. Durkin, that ball ran loose, but he got there in the end. Got it to Max Tissot. Maxime Tissot down the left. Into the feet of Grant. Grant holds it to Durkin. Durkin, big right-footed switch out to Alex Lee.
On a dime, we'll say.
Really was.
Not bad when you're looking straight to the sun, either.
Owusu Sakiri hits Tosh. Tosh, and here comes the substitute, number 7.
Mark Anthony
Kay. Here's Kay still with the ball. I knew. Kay to McCabe. McCabe to Spencer in the box. Spencer up against Roberts. Spencer's cross blocked by Roberts, going to be a Louisville corner kick.
I told you once in the first half, I'll tell you again. The Richmond Kickers announced this week that Swansea City of the English Premier League will return to City Stadium July 19th as part of the club's 25th anniversary season celebration. It's the 4th consecutive time a team from the English Premier League will play in Richmond, and it's guaranteed to be the biggest party of the summer. Tickets are on sale at richmondkickers.com.
I want to see a Gylfi Sigurdsson set piece when he comes to...
I think you might get your chance.
Here's a set piece from Louisville. Headed out. McCabe heads it back in. Shot from the top by McKay.
And it's a penalty.
McKay.
It's going to be a penalty. That shot from McKay hits the hand of Durkin. Durkin holds his head in his hands. I'm going to say that could be a little bit harsh on the youngster. It seems like he was lunging in. That said, his hands, I think, were up high in an unnatural position. I think that's why it's going to be given as a penalty.
Okay, let's get a closer look at this. So it's Durkin with the header.
And then it looks like he jumps.
Oh, his hands are in his body. He turns slightly.
It looked worse upon first viewing. Upon second viewing, it looks like there's not much he could have done there. It looks like they weren't in that bad of a position. I thought he had him up high and out wide. I think that's a little bit harsh there.
He's justifiably disappointed there.
And George Davis IV to step up for Louisville City FC. Former Richmond Kicker player, now taking the penalty against the Richmond Kickers.
George Davis IV taking his time. A few steps backwards. It's going to be a run up from the very top of the box. Here we go. George Davis IV, slight stutter, shoots low to the right. It is a goal for Louisville City FC. 1-0 to Louisville with 10 minutes to go.
Calmly taken there, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. Really nice in-step finish. Never seemed too troubled by what we saw from the Kickers players, from the Kickers goalkeeper, or the Kickers crowd, which got pretty loud there at the end of that sequence.
That goal from George Davis IV presented by Draper Aiden. So 10 minutes for the Richmond Kickers. Lee Cadishaw, I feel like, has already put all his attacking pieces on the field.
He has indeed. I think they're going to try to figure it out as we see the replay here. Really nice, calm run-up from George Davis IV.
There's a stutter in there. I guarantee there's a stutter in there. There it is. And low to the right.
Meanwhile, Chris Durkin was in there, but goalkeeper off his line. Well done by Dobrovolsky to collect. And the score remains 1-0 to Louisville. Less than 10 remaining here at City Stadium. Kickers going to need to be even more aggressive than they are already trying to be if they're going to make something out of this.
I see Chris Durkin stepped into centre midfield, so Kickers have gone back 4, pushed everybody a little bit farther forward for these last 10 minutes in search of an equaliser.
Looks like a 4-3-3 for the Kickers now.
Yeah, there we go. Good touch from Spencer. Durkin picks it up. Good turn from Uwusi Sakiri. Alex Lee goes down the line. Anthony Grant puts Morad under pressure. Richmond Kickers have a throw-in. 9 minutes to go at City Stadium. Richmond Kickers 1-0 down. Throw from Lee to Roberts. Back to Lee. Back to Roberts. Back to Klenowski. No time to waste here for the Kickers. Szynovski's going to have to bring this forward. Szynovski finds the feet of Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando manages to get a turn. Gets it out to Tissot. Tissot low ball in, looking for Grant. Cleared by Morad. McCann with a weak header. Tissot saves him. Szynovski back to Klenowski.
I think you're starting to see the fatigue in those legs of Maxime Tissot.
Yeah.
Not quite having the precision or aerial ball ability that we saw in that first half.
We've watched him do like wind sprints up and down this flank in front of us. Every time you've seen him receive the ball on the left running up here, we've also seen him doing that run and not receiving the ball. So the amount of running you've seen him do, double it. Here's Tissot with the ball. Tissot back to Szynovski. Szynovski, long ball into the channel for Minitel to chase. Tosh with a big old clearance. McCann battles in midfield. Gives Louisville a free kick. He did have his hands on McCabe's shoulders.
Now I think Louisville going to take their time taking this free kick as they also look to be set to take their third substitution of the game.
That's the challenge, right? When you're chasing, you've got to battle for every ball. You've got to be as hard as you can, but you also don't want to give away a free kick because then it gives the opposition team at least like 45 seconds to take their time with it. Tosh plays the ball long. It's Alex Lee against Spencer in the corner. It's going to be a kicker's free kick. The ball is left for Klenowski to take. He takes it fast to Connor Szynovski, who will not want to lose against his old team. Tissot of the left foot and the running. Luis Fernando with, I'm going to say, an unnecessary trick, took him out of bounds. Carl Smith throws it into Williams. Sorry, to Kay. Kay turned, was fouled by Tissot. I don't see Louisville doing anything different formation-wise. We have Kay on the right, McCabe in the middle, George Davis on the left. It's still that 4-2-3-1.
Since that goal happened, though, I think we've seen Jimenez stay a little bit deeper now, not as adventurous when it comes to getting forward. I think he's content to stay back, invite that pressure on, and make the kickers overcommit numbers, and then maybe try to break on the counter. As we'll have our final change for Louisville, it is going to be Speedy Williams making way.
Klenowski with the goal kick in the 85th minute here for Richmond Kickers. 1-0 down to Louisville.
And it is going to be Guy Abend coming on in place of Speedy Williams. This substitution is presented by Elephant Auto Insurance.
Alex Lee with the ball. Lee goes back to Malin Roberts. Szynovski's calling for the switch. Klenowski gives it to him. Okay. Connor Szynovski looks down the line. Gives it to Luis Fernando infield. Luis Fernando turns and goes. Gives it to Uwusi Sakiri. Uwusi Sakiri tried to go out right to Alex Lee. Lee got there, but it was a heavy touch. No, he won the ball. He must have played it off of a Louisville player. Okay. Here goes Durkin. Chris Durkin into the box for Grant. Dobrovolsky off his line to collect it. 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go at City Stadium. Clock is ticking. It was always ticking, but it's more dramatic now. Long ball from Dobrovolsky.
The click is slightly louder.
Yeah.
The tick-tick.
McCabe. McCabe out wide. McCabe finds Kay. Kay, who won the penalty kick. Kay still has the ball under his feet. He's turned away from two Kickers players. Fast feet from Kay. McCabe goes all the way out right. It's Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith up against Tissot. He's under no pressure to get that ball forward. Tosh looking for Kay. Szynovski gets there first. Kay wins it back. Kay finds McCabe in the box. McCabe squares it. Durkin, I think, was saved from an own goal there by Klenowski, but he did cut out the low cross.
He did,
Credit where
but
it's
not
due.
intentionally enough for it to be considered a back pass. I know there was maybe a couple looks to the sideline there from the Louisville players wondering if that flag had gone up. It had not.
That is the correct decision, right?
Yes.
If you've not deliberately passed it back like that, then it's fine. Shinosky to Roberts. Less than 4 minutes plus added time at City Stadium. Kickers 1-0 down to Louisville. If Louisville win this game, I'm going to say it's a good win, but a deserved win.
I think so. It's been a lot of good possession from Louisville. It's been a well-executed game plan, and it's been a lot of opportunities that they're finally able to convert. I would say the penalty pretty harsh there on the kickers, but as you said, I think it's still a deserved win based on the overall gameplay we've seen today.
It's one of those you make your own luck type situations. Good fast moves from Luis Fernando. He overran it though, loses out to Carl Smith. Here's Kay coming forward. Kay, really, or nearly a really good ball in behind the kicker's defense. Klenowski off his line. Alex Lee has it now. Clock still ticking. 3 minutes until we hit 90.
I like that adjustment there. Really a nearly really well hit ball there.
It was a nice idea. There's a different version of that where it's a perfect through ball. Luis Fernando tried the pull back and pass. The result is that Louisville are on the break. Here's Spencer. Spencer to Smith.
I think what you just did was the soccer equivalent of bless her heart.
Well, it was a good move, it just went nowhere. Kay in the corner, loses out to Shinosky. Ball played long. Grant challenged Tosh. Owusu Sakiri with the ball. Owusu Sakiri was waiting for that forward run, didn't get it, so gives it to Roberts. Roberts to McCann. Really good ball from Roberts to McCann. McCann out left to Tissot. Tissot looks up with his left foot. Cross bounces. Bounces dangerously in the box. Louisville keeper Dobrovolsky off his line again to collect it. I think the kickers were as confused as the Louisville defenders there. No one could capitalise on that sort of opening in the box.
I think that was a combination of that low ball bouncing then into the sun. I think people weren't able to quite read it, and then once it goes straight up in the air, it's always going to be difficult to track. But Dobrovolsky does well to collect and hold and keep this game looking like it's going to be 3 points for Louisville.
Get one more look at this sort of opening in the box here. It wasn't a great ball from Tissot, and I think just that missed header created havoc for a moment. Eventually Dobrovolsky steps faster than anybody. Ball safely in his hands. It's a free kick to Louisville. Played down the line to Spencer, who's going to hold it up. Spencer might just hold this in the corner for as long as he can, and I predict it will be quite a long time. Good work from Alex Lee to win it back though. Now Owusu Sakiri against Spencer. Here go the Richmond kickers. McCann into Grant. Grant manages to turn. He's away from Morad. He's put Luis Fernando away down the left here. Luis Fernando tries a trick, gets to the byline, crosses low, ball is loose. Strike over the bar. That was a genuine chance for Minotaur there.
I think some looks of consternation there from that back line for Louisville. Some words being exchanged. They look a little bit angry because I think there was a little bit of confusion. That's why you did have that space out wide that Luis Fernando was able to run into. I think the back line trying to keep that high line, maybe get him offside. Instead, it's some nice work there from Luis Fernando, eventually able to get that ball in. I think that ball actually had gone out of bounds, had been called a goal kick before that shot even came in.
I did not realize. Roberts down the line.
Producer Mike says 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes of added time here at City Stadium.
So that means the kickers have 2 minutes and 40 seconds to find an equaliser. Louisville have 2 minutes and 40 seconds to hold out. That's why you see Dobrovolsky take that ball and dive on the floor, hold on to it for just a little bit longer. We're hearing the attendance tonight is 7,603 here at City Stadium. It's a very good attendance. Let's see if the kickers can find an equaliser for that 7,603, or maybe like 7,500 kickers fans. I see some purple. I see some purple in the stands.
Yeah, I feel like if you're wearing purple on a day in which the kickers are playing Louisville, you're making a statement.
Here goes McCabe. He has a bit of space in front of him. Clips it into the path of Spencer. Roberts gets there. clears it into midfield. It's collected. Strange but good pass out wide to Kay. Kay collects. Kay's got Tissot chasing him. He's in the box though. Kay shoots. It is blocked by Shanoski. It's collected by McCabe. McCabe runs it into the corner but lets the ball run under his foot. Going to be a kicker's goal kick. 90 seconds or so for the kickers here.
Nice work from Connor Shanoski. I think really didn't want to have to go make that closing run. Definitely looking pretty tired, but in the end forces that goal kick.
Anthony Grant sees this out for a Richmond kickers throw-in. Needs to choose wisely. Chooses to leave it to Tissot. About a minute left here. A minute and 10 seconds for the kickers. Here goes Luis Fernando. Luis Fernando outside of the foot pass. Chested down by Minatel. Dobrovolsky off his line before Alex Lee can get there. Good idea from Minatel. Not a bad ball from Luis Fernando either. Dobrovolsky waving everybody forward. Low kick, that is mishit. But it's found its way to Kay.
I think mishit and then misread by a couple of different players.
Now the ball is put into the corner for Kay to chase. Shanoski goes back to Klenowski. Klenowski looks long. Hits it long and down the middle for a Wuxi security challenge. Tosh is too big. Kay, good pass into the path of McCabe. McCabe's pass cut out by Roberts. Roberts couldn't quite clear. Spencer was in the way. Now he heads it clear. Louisville head it back. Judge Davis the fourth with a touch. Alex Lee lets it out.
Final few seconds here for the Richmond kickers to try to make something.
It has to go forward for the Richmond kickers.
But instead we have the full-time whistle go, and we will have a 1-0 win for Louisville City FC here at Richmond City Stadium. The Richmond kickers, I'm going to say, going to be displeased by that result, but I think maybe on what we've just seen in these last 90 minutes or so, I think Louisville probably the deserved victors here with those 3 points.
Yeah, it's always a confusing narrative, right? Like, I'm not convinced that that was a penalty kick. I think Chris Durkin is really hard done by, but if you look at the entirety of the game, it was absolutely Louisville with the ball, Louisville looking to create chances, and the kickers really took a sort of conservative, sit-back kind of mindset. And there's nothing wrong with playing a defensive game, but they also didn't create many chances from it, so therefore you can't say that you deserve to win a game.
It's also always difficult when you are playing that conservative game to stay back, and then in those final 20 minutes or so, really try to change it up.
Yeah.
To kind of pull a complete 180, it takes a little bit of time to get used to what you're trying to do, and in that situation, when the kickers go down 1-0, it makes it all the harder.
Okay, we are going to take a short break, and we'll be back with the final wrap-up.
Hey, congratulations, guys. You know you guys all get one, right?
CBS 6 This Morning, Emmy winner for Morning Newscast.
Elephant Auto Insurance presents Richmond Landmarks with Gene Cox. Built in 1901, Main Street Station has defined Richmond's skyline for over 100 years. One of the oldest train stations in the country, and it still keeps folks on the move. With its national headquarters right here in Richmond, Elephant keeps people on the move without breaking the bank. So log on to elephant.com for a free quote today. It's the most Richmond thing you can do.
I'm gonna leave.
Choose between 1, 7, and 30-day unlimited ride passes. Pick the pass that's right for you and get ready to connect.
At City Stadium, directed by J.J. Abrams, where the final score is Richmond Kickers 0, Louisville City 1. You can see the sun setting over City Stadium. Sun setting on this game for the Kickers. It's a 1-0 defeat. Here we have the second half highlights. That was Connor Shanoski early on, blocking Louisville's path to goal. You did see Tissot down the left having a couple of good opportunities. Brian Ownby, I think, thought he'd scored.
He definitely did. He did the 3 runaway celebration steps.
Yeah, he did. That was Spencer surprising us with his acceleration down the left quite a few times.
And here is that Del Piccolo, I think, like the off the bicycle, that little sneak foot there, but Klinowski able to collect.
Getting anything on it in the box, right? Hoping that it would go in. I think here we're going to see Durkin with the handball. I mean, he turns his back slightly, his hands are tucked in. I'm still not convinced.
I think we call that pulling a Yedlin on the Total Soccer Show.
No complaints about that penalty from George Davis the fourth.
None at all. As you see the run up here, that little stutter step and then in step to the back corner. Really nicely taken.
I'm not always a fan of the stutter step.
No, but I think what it did do in this situation and what it's trying to do is to buy that little time just to see if the keeper commits. Klinowski absolutely committed to that right side of the goal, his right side.
So you're saying Davis waits, he sees Klinowski go to Klinowski's right, then he can go to Klinowski's left. All right, so the Richmond Kickers opened with a 1-0 win. They lost away last week to the New York Red Bulls. They have now lost at home to Louisville City FC. They will be at home again next week, Saturday, April 15th, I believe, 8+7, against Ottawa Fury FC. 5 p.m. kickoff against Canadian opposition. So that'll be a chance for the Richmond Kickers to bounce back. Maybe Oliver Minatel is sort of back to full fitness. Maybe Uday Amora is closer to full fitness. We do not know if the Kickers' sort of key attacking player will be back or not.
And I think there's a chance we see the Kickers go back to a back 4 instead of that back 3, back 5, if you want to call it that.
You think it's not working?
I think you haven't seen many goal-scoring opportunities. The one goal the Kickers have gotten this season came off of a free kick. They haven't been able to create too many clear-cut opportunities by kind of possession down the field, by quick passing, and really by getting in behind the defense. So I think you've got to get some more numbers forward, and I think maybe that's how they'll do it, is by shifting back to a more traditional Richmond Kickers formation.
Okay, that's all from us here at City Stadium. Congratulations to Louisville City FC on a well-deserved 1-0 win. Taylor and I will be back with you next week for the Kickers versus Ottawa. It's goodbye from us. Lee.